Welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Vargas. Thank you. Please. We have a great show planned for you guys tonight, an update on the eviction ban and what that means for both landlords and tenants, the awareness campaign push that is aimed to help at-risk homeowners. We'll also be discussing why in the world people are leaving cities like New York for Miami, and spoiler alert, it's not because we have better pizza. September is also Realtor Safety Month, so we'll be talking about what you can do to stay safe out there. But first, our continuing coverage on mortgage rates. Mortgage rates continue to break records. This month alone saw another record low. Now you're just showing off. Seriously though, I feel like DJ Khaled keeps approving these record low rates. It's like every single time they approach him as to what they should do following a new record low, he just keeps saying, another one. How low are we talking? Well, on September 10th, the 30-year mortgage rate dropped to 2.86%. The previous record was held on August 13th at 2.88%. Look, these are unprecedented lows. Just last year, we were talking about an average rate of 3.56%, so it's basically free money at this point. The 15-year mortgage rate is even lower than the 30-year, if you can believe that, and it fell to 2.37%, down from the last week's prior of 2.42%. You guys get it. Rates are low. But who can even focus on this new record-breaking mortgage rates that keep happening, it seems like, every single week when we have an eviction ban crisis on our hands? Some people are up at arms that landlords are even fighting to push to lift the ban. However, like the crisis and pretty much like everything else in life, there's always two sides to the story. On one hand, you have landlords fighting to have non-paying tenants removed from their properties because, of course, it's costing them money every single month to keep them there. And on the other hand, you have tenants who've been furloughed or let go from their job, to no fault of their own, of course, and have nowhere to go. So what do? Well, the government seems to have a plan. Or so we think. On September 16th, the president of the National Association of Realtors met with Congress to reach a more long-term solution, shall we say, for property owners. The current eviction ban expires on January 1st, 2021. However, this is a temporary solution because many landlords will, of course, just be seeking to collect months of unpaid rent from their tenants, or they will proceed with evictions as soon as the ban is lifted. So, in an effort to avoid a tsunami of evictions, many landlords are urging for a new stimulus bill to be passed, which will provide more rental assistance directly to property owners. And as much as we like to think that landlords are just these big, greedy corporations out to squeeze every last cent that they can from their tenants, the reality is that over 40% of the nation's rental properties are owned by mom and pop owners. And unfortunately, many of these property owners risk going out of business if something is not done quickly. A housing crisis is not another road we want to go down. We already saw how that turned out during the last recession. So hopefully something can be done that's a better alternative than just kicking the can down the road. And speaking of kicking the proverbial can down the road, another issue that continues to come up to light and reach a sort of critical mass, if you will, is the funding help offered to at-risk homeowners. There are programs out there that can help homeowners enter into a 6-month and in some cases a year forbearance with their mortgage provider, which can of course help a good majority of homeowners avoid the irreversible effects of a foreclosure. However, a Fannie Mae National Housing Survey conducted found that 56% of borrowers making less than $50,000 a year were not familiar with these mortgage relief options. This has all led to a campaign push to get the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to notify these homeowners about the available programs. And just how would they be notifying homeowners, you may ask? Well, luckily, it isn't through carrier pigeons. Although, I wouldn't be surprised if that was a front runner. But instead, they chose a more practical route of just aggressively enforcing existing regulatory requirements for services to notify borrowers of their options to avoid a foreclosure if they are in default, as well as mounting a strong public awareness campaign specifically targeting those borrowers with a $50,000 or less household income as to what their mortgage relief options are. Borrowers with limited English will also be targeting this campaign in an effort to reach more minority groups. And while many local homeowners are fighting to keep their homes, a new wave of out-of-towners are swooping in and taking what's left of the Miami inventory and are causing prices to skyrocket. Residents from megacities like New York City, San Francisco, and Chicago have all experienced high levels of residents moving out. Now, while it's no surprise that paying $2,400 for a 450 square foot loft in an older building with no AC gets boring after a while, what is surprising is just how big this exodus has gotten. Zillow came out with a recent report that showed that Manhattan broke a real estate record with over 15,000 apartments empty in the month of August. San Francisco saw almost a 100% increase in home inventory. Los Angeles, about a 10% increase. And Chicago, well, let's just say they're referring to that as the Illinois exodus. But why Miami? Can it be because of our highly addicting cafecito? Well, most definitely yes. But aside from that, other megacities are experiencing higher crime rates and a bigger homelessness population, and the biggest factor can be boiled down to just 3 words: quality of life. Not only are real estate prices more affordable in Miami than in these other cities, Miami, well, Florida in general, has a huge draw in that there is no state income tax, meaning residents keep more money in their pocket living here than if they were to live in any of these cities I just mentioned. And keeping more money in your pocket is always a good idea. So, yeah, welcome to Miami. This increase in new wave of residents does, however, bring a huge drawback to the local real estate home buyer, as inventory is flying off the shelves in record time. For a more in-depth look at just how the current real estate market is, we turn to our local housing market field correspondent, Ms. Chloe DiPietro. Chloe, tell us a little bit more about what exactly is going on.
Hi, Stephen. Thank you so much. So I wouldn't say that the market is technically very hot. For example, today we have a wonderful real estate agent that invited us to come film. He's having an open house here in Miami. So if you have some time, come on by, grab some lunch. If you're with friends, feel free to stop by. We'll be here from 12 to 3 today. We're very excited for this. So, So I guess the market is really hot. The property just sold. So back to you, Stephen.
Chloe, thank you for that coverage. In our final story, real estate agents are feeling more and more unsafe in light of recent incidents that have occurred, and reports show that the majority of real estate agents have felt uncomfortable or unsafe during showings, open houses, and meeting with clients in public settings. September is Real Estate Awareness Month. NAR has recently released a 2020 member safety report, which I will link in the description below for any real estate agent that wants to check that out. But just a few tips that can help you out in the future. As always, you want to tell a family member or a colleague where you're going to be and who you're going to be meeting with, especially if you're meeting with that person for the first time. There's also apps that you can install on your smartphone, just like Find My Friend or Century Key, which is a real estate app that has a safety feature on it, so you can use that if needed. And if possible, carry some sort of pepper spray or protection to defend yourself with. But most importantly, and above all else, stay vigilant and be aware. You definitely don't want to be meeting with anybody for the first time in a remote, secluded location and at weird times of the day or especially at night. Well, that concludes our show for tonight, and thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next time. Well, that concludes our show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, especially if you made it this far. Truly, I really appreciate the support and the love that you guys have shown me and shown the channel. But let me know your feedback in the comment section below. I really want to know what you guys think. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more real estate shows just like this one and other real estate content that I post pretty much on a weekly basis, so you want to check that out. But to continue the fun, make sure you click on one of these videos here somewhere on the screen. Hey, and before you go, don't forget to like this video because it really truly helps out the algorithm. So go ahead and do that. Don't worry, I'll wait. No, really, I'll wait.